Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Rita's Book Club. On this episode, I'm reviewing the second book from the Mackenzi siblings trilogy, The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzi Lee. A few months ago, I read and posted my review of the first book, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and from the very first moment, I was pulled to Felicity and her own story and ideas. So I was super excited to read her own adventures. So, a year after an accidentally whirlwind grand tour with her brother Monty, Felicity Montague has returned to England with two goals in mind: avoid the marriage proposal of a love-struck suitor from Edinburgh and enroll in medical school. However, her intellect and passion will never be enough in the eyes of the administrators, who only see men as the sole guardians of science. But then a window of opportunity opens. A doctor she idolizes is marrying an old friend of hers in Germany. Felicity believes that if she could meet this man, it could change her future, but she has no money of her own to make the trip. Luckily, a mysterious young woman is willing to pay Felicity's way as long as she's allowed to travel disguised as her maid. In spite of her many suspicions, Felicity agrees, but once the girl's true motives are revealed, she becomes part of a dangerous quest that leads them from the German countryside to the promenades of Zurich to secrets lurking beneath the Atlantic. I love this book. If in the first one we fell in love with Monty and Percy's story and the mess of adventures they get up to, in this one we rally behind these three iconic women: Felicity, Joanna, and Sim, that are trying to find their place in a man's world. It doesn't matter that they are better in their respective fields as any man they cross paths with, but they will always have to prove themselves. And such a beautiful homage from the author to all the amazing women and feminists that paved the way for all of us. The book is full of stories that are realistic and in many cases based in real women that work hard to be accepted in those times. So it's really a privilege to read it and learn with them. I knew that Felicity was a special character since we saw her in the first book, but I'm so glad that she had her own story and adventures. This story was her time to shine and grow and get a big reality check on what life was really about. I loved her independence and strength to not give up her dream of being a doctor, but also her perseverance to find a new path that would suit her perfectly. So unapologetic and truly an inspiration. Her speech to the hospital's administrators was one of the best pieces of writing I've ever read. And then, of course, her own connection with Joanna and Sim. Both relationships are very different. The first one is two old friends finding their way back to each other. It's a story full of understanding and loyalty. And the second one is a new friendship that sometimes isn't very trustworthy, but it blossoms by the end of the book. I absolutely love Joanna. When she's presented to us, we feel like she's a spoiled, privileged girl, but when we learn about her true nature, she becomes the softest and strongest woman ever. I loved her compassion for animals and everyone around her, but I loved how stubborn and smart she was, just like her mother. Finally, we have Sim. She was raised in a different way from these two girls, but weirdly, she is the final perfect piece to this trio. Her role was even harder as a woman trying to show their own father that in spite of being a woman, she was the perfect person to take on his empire. I really loved how she was able to shine in the end and prove her worth. Not everything was solved in the side of things, but I loved that the unknown was very hopeful. Finally, I couldn't review this book without saying that I loved how the author was able to incorporate Percy and Monty into the story without pulling the focus from Felicity and her own story. I loved those two, so it was truly a delight. Can't wait to read the final book, this time focused on their estranged brother, Adrian Montague. As always, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at ritasbookclub for more content. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Happy readings!